Is your brand being neglected right now? Do you have 10 questions about digital marketing burning a hole in your pocket? Well, it's your lucky day because that content is coming up. Hello and welcome to the Marketers of the Universe. I'm your host, Haydn Woods-Williams, digital marketing team lead here at Brew Digital. And today I'm being put in the hot seat to test my knowledge on B2B marketing strategy. So if you want to see me squirm, stick around.
Marketers the world over, hold on to your headphones as it's time for the lightning round, where marketing moxie meets its match against the clock. With next to zero planning, no point system, and definitely no prizes, this is Blitz the Biz. Name not finalized.
Hello and welcome. So my name is Tom Innes. I am the content marketing manager for Brew Digital, and I have the privilege of putting Haydn in the hot seat. We are going to be asking him 10 questions. I'm going to give him roughly 30 seconds each. I don't know what the scoring system is going to be for this yet. Will there be points or prizes? Probably not. And afterwards, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can get involved with something Brew is working on in the coming weeks. Haydn, are you ready?
Nope.
Good. I would hate it if you were. So we are going to set a clock for 30 seconds. Like I said, you've got 10 questions to go through, and I just want your immediate reactions to each question. Hopefully you're not talking utter nonsense, because there will be no fact checking and there will be no peer review. But I know that you work a lot on strategy, so this should be groovy. Right. What is the biggest mistake B2B marketers make when crafting their strategy?
Not researching enough. So many bad strategies are made for assumptions. I worked for a company who had like 100,000 organic traffic. Director was super happy. We did the research into it. All of it was irrelevant. So we had to pivot, change the content, change the targeting. And yeah, if you don't research and you don't learn your audience, you're not going to have a successful campaign or marketing strategy.
So it has to be research-led and not gut-led.
Definitely. And I mentioned audience research there. Actually, it's the entire market research.
Excellent. So again, you're going to have 30 seconds, but I'm going to ask for only one sentence. So if you want to take a little bit of time, we'll do some clever editing so it doesn't seem like you're taking ages to think about it. But in one sentence, what's the key to effective account-based marketing?
Am I going to make this a real complex sentence? Use some of those AI M-dashes. Getting on with your sales team is super important, and just not leaving things to chance. So spending time to create custom content. Yeah.
How often should a B2B marketing strategy be reviewed and updated?
Every day. Well, maybe every week. I think it should be something that is living, like it should underpin everything that you do. And that doesn't mean making a plan for 12 months. It means putting a group of research and knowledge and objectives and direction together that underpins everything you're doing for the next 12 months. You can still be reactive. You can still be proactive.
2 seconds over.
Damn it. Am I talking too quickly?
I don't think you're talking too quickly, no. But 2 seconds over. If there were points or prizes, you would be missing out.
I'm going to get fired if I don't pass this.
That's a rich question.
Cool.
I am still here listening, so you're being judged.
He's looming, yeah. The Orwellian header but at the top of the Zoom screen. How important is personalization in B2B marketing on a scale from 1 to 10, and why?
I'm going to put it at 8, because if you don't do it, you're missing out. And I'm not giving it a 10 because if you're doing it, but you're doing it badly because I gave it a 10, then it's much worse than not doing it at all. So yeah, 8. And don't forget to personalize certain parts of the campaign to the hidden buyers. So finance and legal, like you've got to influence those people too. And that's probably put me over 30 seconds again, doesn't it?
I had reset the timer already. You found a little cheat there by just pretending you'd finished. So, what is the most underutilized channel in B2B marketing today?
Reddit. And I don't mean from a paid perspective, because that's really growing. But Reddit is one of the only places organically on Reddit that you can find a community of people who are interested in what you sell, who have self-selected to be there. And if you can authentically tap into that community, that is gold.
Unfortunately, this is quickfire questions, so I'm not going to be following up on that. But we will, I think, have to do another podcast section on this because nobody talks about Reddit particularly.
Or if they do, they talk about it from a paid perspective.
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant, brilliant channel, albeit a bit scary.
It can be. Nasha in the comments agrees with you as well. So there you go. There's your peer review of your answer. Over delivering. That's the Brew Digital promise. So what is your go-to metric for measuring B2B marketing success?
Ooh. I should say, as someone who worked in paid for a long time, I should say ROAS and ROI and direct attribution, but I don't actually think that is the case. I'm going to say overall revenue and company growth, because if you're all working together as a team, like, it doesn't matter who had the assist, it doesn't matter who scored the goal. The only measurable good outcome is that the company is growing in the right direction. That's not to say like just totally ignore attribution, but the overall KPI should be business growth.
In your opinion, what's the next big trend in B2B marketing?
Would it be a cop-out to say AI? No, I'm actually going to go the other end of AI. There's so much AI content at the moment that if you can give real world examples, both positive examples and negative examples, then you're going to disrupt all of the content that is being AI generated, because it doesn't have that authentic experience.
So in a world where AI is becoming more prevalent, you want to be more human?
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you for summing that up.
That's okay. That has cost you some points. What is one tool every B2B marketer should be using but probably isn't? And I will not accept Reddit as an answer.
Damn it. I'm not going to recommend a tool because there's no tool that fits all. I'm going to go back to research, and I'm going to say, don't just pin research on talking to a customer. It's more than that. Use Google, use AI, use Reddit, use industry associations. I know I said Reddit. Everything in that circle is going to help you understand your audience more and how your product or service fits in with that audience.
Like, I don't feel you're respecting the rules here. Can you imagine if somebody went on, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they decided, I don't want to answer that question, I'm going to answer a different one instead.
Okay.
To be pinned.
No. I'm going to think of a tool. Google Docs.
And why?
Multiple people collaborating on one document.
Very good. Very good.
Very dry.
Very dry. Yeah. That will be factored into whatever reward system is put in place here.
My God.
So our final question, your prize hangs in the balance. In 15 seconds, because this is a Jeopardy round, what is your advice for a B2B marketer just starting their career?
Have a good manager. And if you have a bad manager, find another job. Away from that, though, like, listen to what people say, try and learn every week, and be as curious as you can be. And don't be scared to make mistakes. I once got sued.
Lot to unpick there. 20 seconds.
Damn it.
Secondly, does everybody need to have a bad manager?
No, I think it's better if you don't have a bad manager. But if you are stuck in a position where you have a bad manager, don't just stick it out because you feel like you've got to be in a job a year or 2 years or whatever. Like, it's going to be so much better for your progression if you find somewhere where you are treated as a person with a life, and you have the space to blossom.
Words to live by.
It's the longest 15 seconds of my life.
It's fine. We'll make it work. We will make it work. And at the end of this quickfire round, Haydn, I can announce that you have got... Hey, so Future Tom here. There will be no point scoring system because I could not work out how to make sense of the chaos. So everybody's a winner, and it's all about the friends we made along the way. Wow, you did so well. What a fair and transparent scoring system we've used. Thank you for joining or enduring us on our first and possibly last episode of Blitz the Biz, and thanks to Haydn for perching on the hot seat. But the conversation is not actually over, because I promised a discussion on how you, dear listener, can get involved with what Brew Digital is sort of putting out there in the world. And we have a webinar that we are going to be running in the next couple of weeks. And Haydn, you were at one point going to actually be hosting it. Obviously, since we made these podcast plans, things have changed, but we're nothing if not dogmatic to approach. So I thought you would still be the best person to tell us about what's going on. So could you give us a very quick overview as to what the webinar is about?
Yeah, of course. I think so. The webinar is called "Is Your B2B Marketing Strategy Ready for 2025?" And we've got two marketers from outside of Brew who are working in the tech space, and our head of digital marketing services, Rich, just talking about all of the really key things that are going to fall into strategy in 2025. You know, we've covered brand in the topic before this, and we mentioned ABM in the quickfire questions. I think it's just digging into those things and working out how to stand out in a B2B world that is more interesting than people give it credit for, but still a little bit boring.
Could you tell us a little bit about why you chose to focus on strategies, if it's like more important than people give it credit for, but is still deemed boring? Why are we doing a webinar on this?
One of the things that I think is going to come out of the webinar, and because it's an open panel conversation, you never know what's going to come up, but is that importance on research and researching. And I think B2B marketing is at a crossroads at the moment. With the growth in AI, with search landscape really beginning to change, with buyer group behavior changing, and then with the economy in a place where spending cash frivolously is no longer viable, and you have to kind of, which is for good reasons, like justify every budget spend you have.
So how will the webinar address the challenges of turning digital interest into qualified leads and loyal customers?
So we will talk a little bit about demand gen and how demand gen has evolved from lead gen, but we're also going to look at brands in there as well, alongside ABM, to really understand what you are looking for when it comes to lead generation and qualified leads. Because one of the things that we try to encourage our customers to do is to move away from those unnecessary forms for your customers in exchange for having that content out in the open. Like we spoke about last episode around zero-click content, it's really adding value up front. And with AI, it's more difficult than ever to actually add value. So I think that is where there is going to be key. And we will go through how we are using that method to create qualified leads. And interestingly, we've actually run this ourselves for Brew Digital. You know, we
practice what we preach.
We practice what we preach. Thank you, Tom. But yeah, it's been a really effective strategy for us here at Brew Digital to grow our inbound leads. And over the last 12 months, we've seen massive growth in both, you know, inbound leads, referral leads, and also pipeline and revenue because of this strategy. And that's, I think, credit to it.
We do talk a lot about providing value to your audiences, and it's something that we always strive to do with all of the content we create. So what is the one key takeaway that you hope attendees will get from this webinar?
I think it's that there is no one size fits all. And when it comes to there's no one size fits all, that means there's no secret sauce. There's no reason that this company is more successful than this company. It all comes down to taking the time and effort to do the research, to understand how your product or service impacts your customers and prospective customers, and then crafting content that shows you and your employees to be authentic, involved, and knowledgeable in that industry. And from there, you can grow any brand. You can grow any product, any service, as long as the product and service isn't shit. If your product and service is shit, then you're screwed.
I don't know. I think I can think of many products that are pretty shit and are still selling pretty well.
Yeah, but you said pretty shit. Pretty shit implies there's a little bit of goodness in there.
Good marketing.
There you go. That's all right. So Haydn says you can't polish a turd. Tom polishes turds.
For a living.
Is that in reference to the article I read the other week?
Who would benefit, Haydn, from attending this webinar?
B2B marketers, for one. I think if you're in a company that is selling products, I'm about to define B2B marketing. Why the f am I doing that? B2B marketers, because, as I said before, the industry is evolving. AI is changing how we work. And I think a lot of the time, AI is making us lazier than it is actually making us think and work harder. Smarter, not harder. And I think if you're a B2B marketer who's maybe frustrated with the marketing and the direction that it's going, then hopefully we can give you a few tips and tricks that are just going to help you get to the next stage, find that next footstep. And it's all about taking the next footstep and taking the next footstep, because there's no magic juice. I'm now thinking of Bugs Bunny's Space Jam, the special stuff.
Are you all right? We are literally on the last question, Haydn, and it is, how can our listeners register for the webinar and when is it taking place?
The webinar is taking place on the 6th of March at 2:00 UK time. You can register by finding the link in the description of the podcast, or head to brewdigital.com, go to our resource hub, and it will be listed in there as well. Yeah, or follow us on social media and find it there, or sign up for an email and we'll send it to you. All of those things work too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Haydn. Again, it's going to be a real shame that you're not going to be there in attendance, but I know the guest lineup that we have is incredible. So everybody who is remotely interested in strategy, and let's be honest, we all should be if we want to be better marketers, you should definitely attend. Haydn, do you want to read us out?
No, do you know what, Tom? Today, you're going to read us out.
Okay. That's all that we have time for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you have found some useful snippets. We love that you've made it this far through your listen, and we love making this content. So it'd be amazing if you could recommend the show to one friend that you think would enjoy listening to. Make sure that you check out our past episodes and subscribe on whatever platform you use to listen to your podcasts, and we will see you on the next one. I've not been Haydn, but these have been the marketers of the universe. The positive energy. Okay. There's going to be music. I'm going to find some game show music. I don't know how I'm going to actually structure any of this, but there'll be game show music.